everyone, welcome to Taylor's Talk Show. I'm Andrew William, I'm the host of this talk show for today. So we would like to discuss about tourism trend analysis of China. Then I have 4 friends that will join us for today, which is the first person is Miss Cheng Cheng, second person is Mr. Torres, third person is Miss Amy, and fourth person is Miss Fei Fan to discuss about this trends analysis in China. So for the first part, we have a discussion about the tourist arrivals in China, will be presented by Miss Cheng Cheng. Thank you.
Hi everyone, I'm Zheng Zheng. Today I'm so glad to be here to discuss with you about China tourist arrivals. So this chart has shown the tourist arrivals in China from 2002 to 2012. We can see the arrivals trend, and there is a significant decrease in 2003. The arrivals are obviously lower compared with other years' arrivals, and the numbers are gradually going up until 2007, also where the peak point is. After 2009, the arrivals have slightly going continuously to 2012. There is no big changes after 2009. This table has shown the accurate numbers of tourist arrivals and the change rate also. Because this year has not finished yet, so the data collected of 2013 is only from January to June. Even though there are some changes, but overall the tourist arrivals hold a positive growing trend. As we can see on the map, the major nationality of tourists are from South Korea, Japan, Russia, United States, and Malaysia.
Hi, welcome back to Taylor's Talk Show. So today we're going to continue our discussion about the tourism trends analysis of China, which is the second part about the market and tourism receipts and the market share in the China. So today I'll be accompanied by Mr. Torres. He's from China. He's Chinese as well.
Yes.
So how are you, Mr. Torres?
Fine, thank you.
Okay, so good to see you here. So we're going to start our discussion for market share and about the tourism receipts in this discussion. Here's this table show the market receipts and the tourist arrivals, including the year for the past 10 years in the China, to start from 2002 until 2012. So between 2002 and 2003, there's a considerably going down the tourist arrivals and then of course the tourism receipts. So Mr. Torres, can you explain why this tourism arrivals has going down quite a lot?
Okay, no problem. Because we know in 2003 in China there was something happened. It's called SARS.
Yes.
So this is the kind of the influencing the affairs. So that means the people can get this one from another one. It's influencing the disease. So there were so many people pass away because of this SARS.
Okay.
So the tourism, many tourists they cancel their trip, and of course because the number of the tourists is going down, so the tourist receipts also going down.
Okay, so it's really can be said that a lot of tourists really scared to come to China because of this disease.
It's very dangerous.
Okay, so we continue for the next years. So this is the 2004 and until 2007 is the tourist arrivals keep going up because after the SARS virus, and the tourism receipts also keep going up increasingly, very considerably. Okay. And in the 2008 itself, is the tourist arrivals has going down slightly. It's around 1 million tourists. That seen about this 2008 is about the earthquake in China happened, right? Which is in the Sichuan earthquake. I heard that this earthquake is really terrible and very scary. Okay. So maybe most of them the tourists are very afraid to come to China because of this earthquake.
Yes.
Yeah. But then it's not really considerably going down. The tourist arrivals maybe it's because it's for the next 3 months, which is in August, China held the Olympic Games in Beijing, right? I've heard also between Sichuan to Beijing is quite far, right?
Yes,
so
because from the Sichuan to Beijing, if you want to take a flight, you still need 2 hours. So it's quite far from earthquake place and to the Olympic Games place.
So maybe it's most of them still continue their trip to come to see the Beijing Olympic.
Because the Beijing Olympic is already decided before the 7 years, so the people, the tourists already have the plan, have the reservation for the hotel for flight, so they cannot cancel. And they want to join this every 4 years Olympic Games.
Also, mostly of the tourists will continue their trip because of this Olympic Games, right? So we continue about the next 5 years, which is in 2009. The tourist arrivals still keep going down, maybe because after the Olympic Games itself, in this year nothing happened in China or what. And in the 2010, the tourist arrivals has rising up again. Then it's very lot, and also in tourism receipts. So what do you think about this, Mr. Torres?
Because in the 2010, our China will have a big event which called the Shanghai Exposition.
Okay.
So this event is will have every 5 years. So the many countries join this event. They build their construction to show their culture and the products, and they attract people from outside country to China to join this event. So the number of the tourist arrival is going up. Of course, the tourism receipt also going up.
Okay, so it's really good event for it to be held in China. Right?
Yes,
it's very good potential for China to keep raising up their tourist arrivals and the tourism receipt.
Yes,
okay, it's really good. And can continue. Okay. As we can see from the table, also we can keep continue going up and going up of the tourist arrivals and tourism receipts. Okay, so let's continue. We can continue to the market shares. So as we can see from this lines, right, from the statistic of the diagram of this market share, between 2008 until 2012, the market share is keep going up in China. It's really good for economic in China, right? And some more the arrival growth also keep going up, but then in the 2011, the arrival growth is going down.
Because the 2010 we have the exposition, so this is like the top points.
Top
so
point.
go back to the 2011. This is compared with 2009. It's still going up.
Yeah.
But it's going up maybe is slowly compared with 2010.
Yeah, slowly. So like let's say this 96% in the 2010, then for the 2011 keep increase, but only 67% in the 2011 the tourist count. Okay, Mr. Torres, so from the table just now I have shown, right, every year in China always keep growing up and growing up.
Yes.
Okay, then now I want to ask your opinion. What do you think, how can you attract and maintain them to always come to your country?
Because actually, the China is very big, so we have many cities, many destinations for the tourists. So that means we provide many options for them. So now let me show you a video about this.
Okay. Wow, it's really nice place and beautiful place, Mr. Torres. China is really wonderful, right?
Thank you.
Okay. And somewhere I know it's transportation in China also is contribute the economic growth in China also, right?
Yes, yes, you are right. Because not only in China, in the world, the modern transportation is keep developing. So the people go to other country, no matter for business or for tourists, is very easy to compare with the old time. So the modern transportation make our world is like the global village. So of course the modern transportation is a big contribution for tourism economy.
Yeah, it's really to support tourism industry in China.
Yes, yes.
It's really great opportunity, great chance to do this kind of things. Right?
Yes.
Okay, so thank you, Mr. Torres.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's move to the next part, which is we discuss about the contribution of tourism to GDP and employment in China. for the past 10 years, which is presented by Miss Amy and Miss Fei Fan.
Hi everyone, my name is Hong Jia. Today my present topic is about tourism contribution to GDP in China. Now I will explain what is the economic contribution of travel and tourism. The direct contribution of travel and tourism to GDP is calculated to be consistent with the output as expressed in National Accounting of Tourism characteristics sectors such as hotels, airlines, airports, travel agents, and leisure and recreation service that deal directly with tourists. The indirect contribution includes the GDP and jobs supported by travel and tourism investment spending and government collective spending and domestic purchase of goods and services by the sectors dealing directly with tourists. Contribution of travel and tourism to GDP was China yuan 1,361.9 billion. It's 2.6% of total GDP in 2012, and it's forecasted to rise by 7.8% in 2013. The total contribution of travel and tourism to GDP was China yuan 4,787 billion. It's 9.3% of GDP in 2012, and it's forecasted to rise by 8% in 2030. For travel and tourism direct contribution to GDP, China ranked the second in the world, which have $215.4 billion in 2012. For the travel and tourism total contribution to GDP, China also ranked the second place by the figure $756.5 billion. Now I will explain the different components of travel tourism. Leisure travel spending inbound and domestic generated 73.7% of direct travel and tourism GDP in 2012. Chinese yuan 2,388.4 billion, compared with 26.3% for business travel spending, Chinese yuan 853.9 billion. Domestic travel spending generated 89.7% of direct travel and tourism GDP in 2012, compared with 10.3% for visitor exports. Overall, the direct contribution is 28.5% and the indirect contribution to GDP is 52.4%. That means the total contribution of travel and tourism to GDP is nearly 4 times greater than its direct contribution.
Hi dear audience, I'm Fei Fan. Next I will introduce the contribution to employment. The tourism industry is certainly very important sector for the Chinese economic, not only because of the amount of GDP contribution, but also the huge source of employment depends on this industry. The employment including direct employed by hotels, travel agents, airlines, and so on. As we can see here, China provides direct jobs in the second position. Other than that, the total contribution to employment in China has occupied the first position, which provides jobs are more than 63 million in the year 2012. With the amount of 63 million jobs provided, tourism employment has helped people like minority residents, women, laid-off workers, university graduates to find their jobs. Furthermore, I will introduce the employment of tourism in past 10 years.
As you can see in the chart, from year 2003 to 2006, the employment has grown continuously, especially in 2004 and 5. The changes are quite significant, and this is due to the government operate many conferences to guide the society. However, in 2007 to 2008, the growth has going down to a negative rate, which was because of the financial crisis and natural disasters happened in China. Start from 2009, China tourism employment has increased and stayed stable. In addition, while the tourists spend $1 million, there are 144 jobs are supported in this industry, which is more than financial service, auto manufacturing, and communicating service.
So that's all about that. So just now we review about the past 10 years in China tourism industry. So can China keep maintain and continue growth of this in the tourism industry in the next 10 years? Let's have a look here.
It's estimated that in 2023, the direct contribution to GDP will be China yuan 3,384.8 billion, which will grow by 8.7%. For the total contribution to GDP will be China yuan 12,062.2 billion, which grows by 8.9%.
For the tourism employment in following 10 years, travel and tourism is forecasting to support more than 89 million jobs, which is 11% of total employment. And the direct employment is going to provide more than 26 million jobs, which will increase 3.3% of total employment contribution.
As China National Tourist Organization forecasted that in 2012, the foreign tourists will be more than 150 million, and the growth rate will maintain 4% each year. The WTTC forecasts that by 2023, China will overtake the United States as the world's largest travel and tourism economy.
That's all just now about the forecasting in the next 10 years in China. Hopefully China have a good brands in the future. So that's all about our discussion for today. And I would like to thank you to all of my friends who joined in our talk show for today. And thank you once again to Mr. Torres to come to our talk show. So I hope we can meet next time.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Torres. And thank you for everyone. Bye.
Thank you for watching. Welcome to China.